speaking of De'Aaron Fox, very different context to what we were just talking about with De'Aaron Fox with a potential baby watch and an all-star nod but it does speak to his game. It does speak to his evolution. He's stepped up defensively recently, and he's a guy that, I mean, James, I mean, you could speak to this far better than I can. I used to see Doug Christie every day in our past life when I worked somewhere else and Doug did something else for a living, and he'd come in and he would just be adamant over and over and over again. De'Aaron Fox can be a great defender. De'Aaron Fox is a better defensive player than we see every night. Like, he has the skill set to be a great defender. He had said for at least the season, De'Aaron Fox can be an all defensive player. Like, he can be an all NBA defensive team player. And now, I'm sure not coincidentally, with Doug Christie on that coaching staff, we've started to see that really for the first time. And I love the way that he's played defensively the last two games. I love the way that he's played defensively a lot. Like, he's had his moments as the entire team has had their moments this year on the defensive end. But I really love the evolution of De'Aaron Fox's game on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, he's getting better and better. Is he a finished product? Absolutely not. Is he a great defender? I don't think he's a great defender, but he's becoming a better and better defender as we're watching him mature as a player. I think a lot of this really, it does come down to the fact that he has Domas to carry like so much of the weight of this team. It's really hard when you're the point guard and you're being asked to do this and this and this. And, oh, and by the way, we need you to run the team. We need you to push the tempo. We need you to score. We need you to be our assist man, get everyone involved. Oh, and by the way, we need you to lock down one of the best players on the other opposition team. Because like every night in the NBA, if you're a point guard, you're going up against a great player. There are very few teams in the league who don't have a really good point guard. And so for him, like having someone else who can take the ball up the court, somebody else who you can run the ball through for stretches that, you got a bunch of shooters, but like how many different guys do we talk about with this, the 2-man game with Sabonis? Like Herter's 2-man game with Sabonis is great. Monk's 2-man game with Sabonis is great. And what that does is every single time you're allowing Fox to take a breather and take a step back, you're letting him take a physical and mental break and really catch his breath. And so I think that that's a really good thing that we're seeing him show more focus on that side, especially late in games. He can't he can't be your leading scorer and your best defensive player for 36 minutes a night. That's just not the way it works.
Yeah, those expectations are unrealistic. And, Kenny used to point out pretty regularly, Kenny will be back with us on Monday. Kenny will point out that's often what the Kings have asked of him. They asked him to be the best on both sides of the ball, and that's just virtually impossible. And when you compared him to other players, whether it be Trae Young or John Morant, whoever, none of them were ever asked to be the best defender on their team. Like, De'Aaron was tasked to head up both sides of the floor, which, as you noted, that's just not how it works. That's not how it works. That's just completely unrealistic to be able to give that level of energy on each side of the ball. That's a great point that I didn't think about, the fact that he has Domantas Sabonis now on the offensive end, and he can be kind of the center of the Kings universe on offense, which allows him to be significantly more active on the defensive end. Or, as he likes to say, significantly more disruptive on the defensive end.
Yeah, and let's be honest, too. You brought up Trae, and they went out and got DeJounte Murray, who's a very good defender. You talk about Ja, and he's playing alongside Desmond Bane, who's a solid defender, but also Dylan Brooks, who's a very good defender. Like, they're playing with tough guys. And that's not to say that Kevin Huerter isn't a tough guy, but like Kevin Huerter is a good defender. He's not a great defender, lateral quickness and everything else. Like, so he's not the guy taking over. Like when Kevin Huerter actually was asked to defend the toughest guy when he was in Atlanta because Trae is just so bad defensively that you couldn't even try to put him on a guy like Fox or someone else. So Huerter has that ability, but he's not as like physical and built like to play alongside Fox. So you're relying on Fox to take up a whole lot of the load as far as a defender. And when you go Fox and Monk, Monk's not a big guy either. Monk's not a great defender. He can be disruptive, but is he going to be a lockdown guy? And that's why when you start hearing things about like guys like Matisse Thybulle can play the 2 and the 3. But like if you have a night where someone's going crazy, like Anthony Edwards or name that guard that's gone nuts against the Kings, you can shift out a guy like that and go, hey, go stop him, go slow him down, go slow down a Luka Doncic at 6'7", because that's just something. Asking Fox to do that or asking Davion to do that, it's just a really tall task when you're looking at a guy who's just much bigger than they are.
Is Malik the single most exhilarating member of the Sacramento Kings?
Exhilarating. Huh.
Like when he has the ball in his hands, you're never quite sure. Like he's not going to just make a chest pass. Like
No.
he's going to find a really creative a really creative way to get the ball from point A to point B. And it's always one of those, oh, he got it. All right. Like he's exhilarating. Nerve-wracking, probably for Mike Brown.
I think like I get where you're going. I'm still gonna say it's Fox, where you're like, I can't believe I just saw that. Like I can't believe,
Sure.
like he just like watched a ball roll to half court and sat there and like wasted time, but like the shot clock's not going, and then scooped up the ball and scored, and there's still 22 seconds left on the shot clock, and you're like, that was crazy how quickly he just got up and down the court. Now again, like we've talked about it so many times, like how many times has Trey Lyles had like a really, really good offensive game and he's outscored Monk, but all you remember is Monk and you have no recollection of Trey Lyles scoring 16 points.
Mm.
It's just sort of the type of player that he is, the excitement, the flashiness that he brings to the court. That attempted hammer that he, tried to go over the top, that was wild. And those are things that you have to have though on occasion, like that's what makes basketball fun. It's the crazy dunks, the athleticism. We're talking about, relative giants that can do things on the court that are just stunning to watch. And so yeah, I mean, is he the most exciting player? I'm still going to go Fox, but he's really fun to watch.
Exhilarating. Yeah, he makes your heart beat fast. I think there are a few things as fun, more entertaining to watch on the Sacramento Kings team than when De'Aaron Fox just decides he's going to accelerate. We mentioned the play from Minnesota where he was just bringing the ball up the floor, and clearly he saw something where he was just like, you know what? They can't catch me. Yeah. And as Mark Jones said, he popped the clutch and was throwing the ball down before Minnesota even knew what happened.
Yeah, I mean that's who he has to be though. I mean, like I want more of those opportunities. And he's not the only one who scores in bunches in like one quarter. Even Ja, like there's plenty of times the Kings have played Ja where he's good early on, but he's great late. And it's a trait of a good scorer, or a great scorer, that you need them in crunch time to show up and put you over the top and win a game. But I also think that there's something to like, why do you got to leave some games in question? Like, go ahead and do your thing early in the game, and so you don't have to worry about that. Punish a team early that they can't keep up with you, and that's the only thing that I would say that like there are a couple of times where it's just like you need that oomph that he has earlier in the game.